Guys, welcome. Tony Katz. Good to be with you. The show is called Tony Katz today. Very, very full day. You've got Zelenskyy in town. He just met with the president, arrived at the White House. We will cover that because they're all supposed to do a press conference. My plan is to bring that to you live. I have a tremendous amount to get to regarding a host of subjects, including the Epstein disaster, and I will explain that coming up. Glad you guys are here. Radio show.
Yes, I had pretty close. How are you? Pretty good.
He's all dressed up today.
President Trump, what's your message to Vladimir Putin, sir?
Trump is, I mean, how do you even describe it at this stage of the game? Vlodomir Zelenskyy gets out of the limo. He's wearing all black, right? He's wearing that black kind of like turtleneck thing he wears and pants. And Trump shakes his head and goes, "Look at you. You're all dressed up." Like he's a kid getting ready for his bar mitzvah. "Oh, Seth, you look so wonderful today. And what a haftorah. Oh, my God. Let me tell you, your bubby's going to be so proud of you. Something tells me double chai." There are like 3 Jews in the audience who got that joke, and honestly, I'm good with that. Tony Katz today. What are you doing, everybody? 833-GOT-TONY, 833-468-8669, 833-GOT-TONY. That's how you get to be a part of the show. Find everything at TonyKatz.com and on the Twittix at Tony Katz. That's a good place to be and see what's going on. We're going to cover it, right? They're supposed to have an entire press conference. They're already agreeing there on the rare earth minerals. From what we hear, this was them in the White House just a little bit ago.
How much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected. But still, it's not very much. They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using that, using it for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military. And it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil and we have a lot of gas. We have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do. This puts us in great shape.
Now, I don't know why he's saying raw earth and not rare earth, but neither here nor there. What that deal is going to look like, I don't know. I don't know, and we don't know. And for the people who are upset, because there are people upset that a deal got made, and that part eludes me. If you ask me if I thought it was right to say, you got to pay us back, no. That is not the reason to be supportive of a nation in a fight against an invasion. Certainly, you can argue that there are some things that are wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Writing us a check back is not necessarily it. But you have these rare earth minerals. We need the rare earth minerals. You need the investment. Why not? The part that blows my mind is that I don't think everybody understands that this is, Ukraine wants to be a NATO nation, and I'm vehemently opposed to such a thing. We don't want them to be a NATO nation. NATO is too big as it is, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. But part of the reason Ukraine wants to be a part of NATO is Article 5, right? An attack on one is an attack on all. So if Russia decides to get all uppity again, there's the United States and everybody else that has to fire their weapons. I don't think we should be a NATO nation. But if we start having serious economic development, U.S. industry in Ukraine digging for these rare earth minerals and, the other businesses that will come around that. We're going to protect our interest, right? So de facto, we're the protectorate. Am I the only person who has noticed that this is happening right here? This is exactly what's happening. We're the protectorate. And you say to me, isn't that the thing that the people in MAGAville opposed? And the answer is yes. Don't they know that? Let me give it to you the other way really quick. It's us or China. In every conversation, everywhere, what looms is China. And everything is a hedge against their hegemony. Welcome to the real world, everybody. My name's Tony Katz. I will be your host. Who wants pie? Speaking of the real world, there is nothing that has been more absolutely disgusting to me. So I really wasn't expecting it. I was surprised by it. And I guess you can argue that I'm just a naive kid. You could, I guess. And I was disgusted by how the Epstein files were released yesterday. Let me say for the record a few things. I'm aware that the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, wants the full files. She's claiming she's not getting them from the FBI. Kash Patel, director of the FBI, is already saying, I will get them to you. It was a letter that was addressed to Kash Patel wanting full and complete Epstein files by 8 a.m. today. I don't know if she got them or not. Are there some agents out there keeping files from the Attorney General? First things first, arrest those people. They don't get to keep anything from the Attorney General. There is this weird thing that goes on when anytime someone talks about Trump, that somehow he is not the president of the United States. This was a former Air Force secretary, right? Secretary of the Air Force. That's a big deal. Talking on MSNBC about how General CQ Brown was taken out as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Secretary Kendall, this is Eddie Glaude. I talk a little bit about your relationship with General CQ Brown and the meaning of his removal, as well as Admiral Franchetti and General Slife. I mean, what does this suggest to you about the current approach with regards to the military and diversity?
That's concerning, too. It's essentially a politicization of the military in a way I've never seen. The president has the authority to remove officers and replace them. These were all removed without cause. They didn't do anything wrong. There wasn't any question about their judgment. I've never seen this before. The administrations change and military professionals provide some continuity in normal course of events. And that's of value. They have a lot of experience. All of these officers, and I do know them all, I know General Brown the best, are very, very highly capable people. They've risen to the top of their profession. They've been chosen because of their maturity, their judgment, their capabilities. And there was no reason to remove them other than the apparent way to put people in to be more compliant.
That is such a ridiculous argument. That, I thank the secretary for his service, but he's just wrong. And I would tell him nose to nose, you're just wrong. The president can remove anybody for any reason. It's continuity. Maybe that's the problem. Again, are we in favor of the institution for the sake of the institution, or are we in favor of the institution for what it does for the American people? If it's not the latter, of what value is the former? There is no value in the former. To support the institution for the sake of the institution says that the people who are there always have to be there because they're the people who are there. But these are bad people who get us into bad situations, who don't think the way President Trump does, nor the 77 million people who voted for him. So General Brown, nice guy, has got to go. By the way, I assume he's a nice guy. I don't know. I never met him. I'm going to assume he's a nice guy. But if he doesn't align with what the president wants, then he's got to go. Be more compliant? What does that even mean? Was there ever a moment where Merrick Garland wasn't compliant with Joe Biden? What wordplay nonsense garbage is this? But this is how they play it. anything having to do with Donald Trump. Well, there'll be nobody there to put a check on him. That's not their job. Their job is to implement the policy as the president sees it, because we, the people, voted for him. The check could come from Congress, but it can't come from people who are in the military. You're asking military members not to follow orders. Dear Lord, how many more coups could Democrats be in favor of? First, you replace Biden with Kamala Harris, and now you want the military to not respond to the needs and the directives of the commander-in-chief? Weird. And yes, remove anybody who does not listen to orders. And if they want to not comply with an order, they're more than welcome to not comply with an order. They have to deal with the consequences of that. By the way, this secretary, to the extent that he has any access to anything secretive or classified, I would take away that classification immediately. Gone. Based on that commentary. Based on that commentary, gone. Based on that commentary, based on what we know to be true, any FBI agent not giving Pam Bondi the files has to go. Has to be fired, and I think there should be criminal charges. You don't get to keep files from the Attorney General if the Attorney General asks for them. You hand them over. You're an underling. You're a bureaucrat. You are not necessary. You were not Senate confirmed. Take a walk. Now, the nothing that is these files is very upsetting. I know these names. You know these names. And I am not angry with these names that they flew on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein, the financier who did not kill himself in 2019. He absolutely had an island. He was engaged in sex trafficking of children, engaged in sexual abuse of women. Ghislaine Maxwell was with him. There are people on the island who knew what was happening and took advantage of all of those children, all of those young women. I want them in jail. And I don't care what their name is. I want the names. I want to know who was on the island. I don't want to know who was associated with him and took a flight. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had to explain that he took 2 flights with this guy in his life, with Jeffrey Epstein in his life, once from here to here, once from here. Yeah. The guy was crazy wealthy. Kennedy's a Kennedy. No question, they probably ran in the same circle. That doesn't mean Robert Kennedy Jr. knew what was going on. Doesn't mean Donald Trump knew what was going on. Doesn't mean Bill Gates knew what was going on, etc. Doesn't mean that. But if you were on the island, well, that's something we're going to have words about. And I don't care what your last name is, and I don't care who your daddy is. That list needs to come out. And I don't know why Pam Bondi wasn't screaming up and down that she didn't have all the information. She should have been screaming from day one. And I'm a little PO'd that she wasn't. But more disgusted with how this information got out. All of a sudden, out of the White House walks 4 or 5 influencers with binders. We've got the names right here. What kind of stupid is this? The Trump administration, from hour one, has been nonstop professional. Professional face, professional attitude, styling. They have been a well-oiled machine. They have known their messaging. They have known their movements. They have been planning and practicing, and they have been on point. And then you had the dopey Joe Biden-esque carnival show up where you've got these influencers saying, look at me, I've got a binder. What the hell is this? You release everything online, you let everybody see it. You don't have 5 people walk in because they've got a bunch of social media followers and say, you get it first because you're special. Is Pam Bondi out of her mind? I mean, somebody, it's Harvey Keitel and National Treasure. Somebody's got to go to jail. Someone's got to get fired, right? It's not going to be Pam Bondi. But Attorney General Bondi, that's your one. Everybody gets one, that's your one. That's your mistake. Don't make that mistake again. What are you, out of your skull? Who set this up? Who thought this was a good idea? Everything about yesterday looked like something Joe Biden and Karine Jean-Pierre would do. Not this White House with seasoned people who are adults and professionals. And I damn well demand you act like it. You don't do it like that. You say, here it is, and you release it. Not to the influencers. Get over that. That is silly. Made you look dumb. It made you look stupid. I hate those words, but that's how it made you look. Don't make that mistake again. And get us the list. And for the people out there saying, slow down, it doesn't work that way. You can't move that fast. Everyone slow down. No. You slow down. Or get out of the way and we'll get somebody in there who can work at speed. I am not going to listen to Elon Musk tell me, hey, things don't move that fast. Whoa. Is that what you tell people when they're designing rockets? I want the Epstein files. Stop telling me it can't happen. Get it done. You want to be loved and adored? Get it done, because we elected you for purpose and we want the purpose completed. That's it. Look forward to seeing the files, Attorney General Bondi, and just release them online. That's all you got to do. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. So here's what's weird. I moved some things around in the studio yesterday, and really moved a computer, my laptop, which I keep an eye on Twitix, and when I'm this is the machine where like if I'm reaching out for a video clip or wherever, it's coming from this machine and then playing through. And for whatever reason, having made this one move, I've changed airflow, and my cigars just, instead of flowing, it's just wafting in front of me. I'm like, what did I do? How? I'm like, was it the fan from the laptop? No, that's impossible. It might not be impossible. I don't know if this is going to last. Anyway, guys, good to be with you. Glad that you are here. Tony Katz today. I see that in our comments we've got already some very, very angry people. Some very angry people. No, it's not the ceiling vents. I have a whole system in here meant to draw out the smoke. The problem is it's not too loud, right? You can be in here and it's fine, right? It becomes white noise, but I think it might be problematic for the microphone. So I never usually turn it on during the show. I'll try it during the next break, and you'll tell me whether you think it's a problem, whether you think it's an issue. Yeah, it's been a big day of trolls. I don't know what I did. I don't know. Maybe I've arrived. I don't know. But the story about measles is very problematic. And there's a story here, which I will get to. So I'm pulling this up and putting this together. There we are. Glad you guys are here. And if I can answer a question, I will. I will do that. Happy to. I'm sorry if you're having buffering issues, Claudia. I don't think I have an issue. Yeah, I'm as solid as I get, kid. That stinks. Apologies. A child died of measles. This took place in Texas. 124 people at last count when I last looked at the reporting in rural West Texas. Now, we have seen measles outbreaks before. As Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. pointed out, there have been 4 measles outbreaks this year in this country, in the United States, of course. Last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year. I think that for many people, they look at measles as something that we took care of already. We, the United States of America, us, we handled this. We had this issue, and we built out a framework, and we took some good drugs, and the next thing you know, no more measles. Gone. And then we've been allowing illegal immigration year after year after year after year after year from places that don't have the sanitary conditions that we do, from places that don't have the medical care that we do. And now measles, and kids are dying. Now, you tell me, how dare you? And I say to you, I'm just following data. Wouldn't it make sense? Wouldn't the science say, if you've come from a country that doesn't properly vaccinate against measles, and you come in large measure, isn't it possible that you could spread measles? Of course it is. To not say so for fear of being bigoted is insane. How could anybody engage anything scientifically if you can't say something for fear of being bigoted? For example, when you mention that COVID probably came from a lab in Wuhan, China. Oh, you can't say China. You can't say China. That would just be xenophobic. So it came from a Bazooka Joe comic is what must have happened. You couldn't say that it came from a leak in the lab, at the Wuhan virology lab, where they work on these things. You can't say that. Of course you can say that. Of course you can say that. As a matter of fact, you have to say it. If you don't say it, I think you're insane. Is it possible that we are seeing an increase in measles because of and directly related to illegal immigration? That's not an attack. That is a question that we should be able to scientifically answer. And if so, wouldn't it be better to protect the citizens of the United States by not allowing people with measles into the United States? You can tell me that's xenophobic, racist, bigoted? We're saving lives. Now, I think, based on what we have seen of more and more serious issues come into the U.S., that it is a connection to illegal immigration from all across the globe. It could be something else. Sure, it could be something else. I'm more than happy to have the appropriate folk with some oversight do some testing and then get back to us. Get it to the boys in the lab and then come back to us and tell us what it is. We can't wait to hear it. But if indeed it is illegal immigrants, what's our plan? If it's the water supply, what's our plan? If it's name a thing, what's our plan? Because that's the way normal people should react. Oh, we can't say that because it's bigoted, and then we never find out and let our kids die? Nah, screw those people. Let's find out. I'm Tony Katz. So now I noticed that the camera did the flicker thing. Did you see that, Landon? There it is. It just did it. It just did it. All right, I'm going to see if I can fix that. I'm going to see if I can fix that right there. All right, you guys stay right here. Did you miss me? No? Okay. Oh, so much more to get to. Oh, why is Chuck Todd going after Brett Baer? Like, what is the flat out? No, I knew I didn't turn my mic off. I knew, Freddie. It was a whole behind the scenes excitement. I don't know why this happened. I think I have it. Yeah, I should have the piece right there. I should have the piece. No, I've got it here. I'll figure out I was in the wrong place. I forgot. Very strange. I don't know why it's happening. And this whole Tim Walz thing. Oh, this is a beaut. Where Tim Walz is basically called to account for the first time in his life with the Minnesota press about calling people on the political right Nazis. Tim Walz ran for vice president. I bet you didn't know that. Because you probably don't know him by his name. You probably know him by this. Oh, that's going to get used in a meme, isn't it? Tony, don't. You really shouldn't. You really shouldn't have. You truly and really shouldn't have. Okay, I've got it right here. Very, very strange. Why Chuck Todd's going after Brett Baer? Totally beyond me. But I've got that story as well. Let's see what else I'm missing here. How soon there, producer Landon? 1 minute. All right. I like that. Oh, yeah, I got this. Good. Good. Okay. Love it. Don't forget to follow on X. I'm following along there if you've got a question. Christopher saying too much hot dogs and not enough for mustard in yesterday's release of the files. I don't think the AG has any real evidence. What real evidence we once had has been destroyed. Look, that's absolutely possible in these Epstein files. I'm never going to get over it. It's times like these where it's like, yeah, we've got two Americas. It's true. We have two Americas. If you can hide what Epstein did this brazenly, just show it. You can kill the guy in prison and then destroy the files. Makes me sick. It really does. We're coming back to the show. Let's get to this. More cigars, everybody. So did Trump just decide to reveal a conversation just because he was doing an interview? He's doing an interview with Ben Dominic that'll be out in the Spectator. And he's like, well, Joe Biden blames Barack, right? I'm sorry, what now? Did he tell you this? Turns out, yeah. Tony Katz today. What is going on, everybody? Some numbers came out regarding where we are with inflation. We're going to break those down with Dr. Matt Will, economist at the University of Indianapolis. It certainly did make the markets feel better. This is the core inflation measure, 2.6%. That is exactly where the expectation was, but it's 0.3 for the month. And if we utilize the good Dr. Will's economic metric there, 0.3 times 12, that's 3.6% unemployment. That's what it is. But there is some very interesting news in this report regarding what's going on with personal income and how that might play into people feeling better about the future. I will get to that story. Ben Dominic gets the interview with President Trump inside the Oval. First interview that Trump has done for a magazine. I am a believer that he got this interview because Meghan McCain tried to move heaven and earth to get Tulsi Gabbard confirmed as the director of national intelligence. Okay, this is convoluted stuff. Follow me here. Trump makes fun of John McCain, the late senator from Arizona. I don't like people. I prefer people who weren't prisoners, right? Who didn't get caught in war. And that creates the bad blood. And Meghan hates Trump. And John McCain hates Trump. And here comes skinny repeal. And here comes Senator McCain and the thumbs down, which I haven't forgiven him for. He was wrong. He was wrong. If Meghan McCain wants to be mad at me because her father was wrong, that's fine. Her father was wrong. End of list. That was wrong. Referring to Russia as nothing but a gas station masquerading as a country, he was right. That's very funny. Skinny repeal, dead wrong. Absolutely awful thing to do. Did he do it out of spite, out of malice, because he truly believed it was a bad idea? Whatever the case may be, he was wrong. The senator passes away. The funeral is a bit of spectacle. And I remember it because I was sitting in a television studio in Indianapolis, and I was waiting to go on Fox. And we were going to talk about this, and I was watching the funeral, and I said to myself, I hope she doesn't say anything she lives to regret. And even on Fox, I said that because I thought that if you're giving a eulogy based on anger, I don't think you're doing it right. That was my take. Now, she may see it differently. Of course, it's her father, and I'll leave it be. But what a thing. So there's been just bad blood and hatred. Meghan McCain, the wife of John McCain, Cindy McCain, oh, bad blood. Then you've got Joe Biden, who's incapable and incompetent and doesn't know where he is. You've got Kamala Harris and the coup to make her the nominee. And even Meghan McCain is like, you people are crazy. No one can vote for you. Trump gets elected. He's picking cabinets, and he picks Tulsi Gabbard for director of national intelligence. Turns out Tulsi Gabbard and Meghan McCain are very close friends. Like outrageously close friends. I didn't know. I'm not friends with them. I didn't ask. She is screaming and yelling how you got to confirm Tulsi Gabbard. This clearly moved the White House. They were very impressed, very appreciative, even to the point where Meghan McCain was making phone calls on behalf of Tulsi Gabbard. She gets the vote. She gets the confirmation. She gets sworn in. So appreciative that Meghan McCain is in the Oval while Tulsi Gabbard gets confirmed with President Trump there. Politics makes strange bedfellows. And then 2 weeks later, her husband, Ben Dominic, gets the first interview. These things just happen, I guess. So Trump's recounting a story. And it goes, quote, I asked him, I said, so who do you blame? Because he was very angry, you know, he was a very angry guy, actually. And he said, I blame Barack. And he said, and I also blame Nancy Pelosi. This is Trump saying it. I said, what about the vice president? He, meaning Biden, he said, no, I don't blame her, which was interesting. He didn't blame Harris. He told me he blamed those two people. I don't think you should have let a private conversation be public. I am an old school cat in that regard. I do this for a living. And if I'm just hanging and talking to somebody, I consider it off the record de facto. Now, it's not unless we discuss it. I could use it. I don't know. That's creepy, right? Like that's giant jerk face mode at that moment. So I don't do that. I don't take people's private conversations and do that. I don't think he should have done that. But you know it's true, right? Now it's out there. You know that's 100% factual. He absolutely blames Barack. You know he hasn't spoken to Nancy Pelosi since. And I'm telling you, this is a Democratic Party that doesn't have an internal or external leadership. Doesn't exist. There is no heir apparent. There is nobody running the ship. That's how you get Jasmine Crockett out there spewing whatever insanity Jasmine Crockett decides to spew at any given time. Nobody is in control. Nobody. That is very, very clear. Now, moving over to the Middle East real quick. There's this story that Israel is not going to leave the Philadelphia corridor. And this matters because what Israel wants to do is extend phase 1 of the hostage release for another 6 weeks. The original plan has phase 1 ending, I think it was yesterday. They released the bodies of 4 murdered hostages. They're not dead. They're not deceased. They didn't have a boo-boo. They were murdered by Hamas. So we're clear. Good. And that was going to be the end of phase 1. And you would work on phase 2, which would be more drawdowns from the Israeli military, the IDF, more movement over here, etc. This has not happened. And one of the places that we're talking about is the Philadelphia corridor. This is where Egypt meets Gaza. This is an area where arms and weapons and other problems can be easily smuggled through, and Israel has been sure to control this area to ensure these things don't come through, which means a future dead Israelis. I don't think I said anything out of school there. That's exactly what it means in every way. We will not allow Hamas murderers to once again roam our borders with picking up trucks and guns, and we will not allow them to rebuild strength from smuggling. Hamas is saying, well, they're breaking the agreement. No more agreement. Israel's trying to say, no, we're staying, and how about we extend this part of the agreement? They don't know how many hostages are left. They know there are some alive because Hamas has paraded them around on video. They want to get these people back. But what they are addressing here is incredibly important. You're not dealing with honest brokers. Anybody who thinks that Hamas or the Palestinians are capable of governing themselves are out of their heads. They're not capable of it. You know, it's the old line. If the Palestinians put down their weapons right now, there would be peace. If the Israelis, if the Jews put down their weapons, there wouldn't be an Israeli or Jew left. Those are the facts, and they are so undeniable. It's like the sun rises in the east. It is as clear as day. They're not going to let Hamas get a chance to reincorporate, reinvigorate, resuscitate. Nope. They're not going to do it. They're going to stay. And if it means the deal's done, the deal's done. They got back who they could. Unless there's some crazy overture from Hamas, they're staying right there. And the only reason to want the Israelis out of this area is to be able to get more weapons, to be able to get more goods, to be able to get more ways to attack the Israelis, because they're not done. These are true believers. They don't want to live in peace. They want to destroy. That is all. That is all they have ever wanted. And this is more proof of it. Israel's not going to go. They're not going to go. And I wonder whether you're now going to see a little bit of a ramp up of Netanyahu's talk to say, hey, President Trump, you know, when you said letting all the hell break, it's time. It is time. Let's go break some hell loose in some places. I think that's coming. I do think that's coming. What in the world did Chuck Todd say about Bret Baier and why? And it's just another example of how much they hate you, because that's exactly what it's about. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. So there seem to be some fireworks already going on at the White House with Vice President Vance and Mr. Zelensky. Oh, I look forward to listening to this with you. I have got that. The joint press conference. When is that scheduled for? It's still scheduled for the next hour. Still scheduled for the next hour. That should work out pretty great. Yeah, no, it got the heated. It sure did. Of course it did. They still going? Oh no, they're all getting tossed now. Huh. Oh, I got a lot to share. I got a tremendous amount to share. All I know is it ended, and it ends with JD Vance leaning over to President Trump, giving him a pat on the arm, like the elbow, like good work. Oh, it's gonna be a day. It's gonna be a day. All right, let me see what I've got here. Let me see if I've got everything here. Get it ready for you guys. I appreciate all the comments, by the way. Appreciate every single one of those. It's always good. I will get to that. That's the problem when I handle it all on my own. I always have. Good Lord. That is cuckoo. That is cuckoo. All right, where do I have? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can present. Share screen. And boom. Okay, oh, see that? Look at that. Look at that. I got that right there. Almost like a pro. Guys, Tony Katz, good to be with you. Tony Katz today is the name of the show. I'm starting to think that maybe this thing won't happen. They're supposed to gather for this press conference at 1, and good Lord, the Oval thing just broke up, and that went on for forever. Let's see where they are. Oh, okay. I got this. Okay.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong,
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel in
Holy cow. Oh, okay. Well, the news cycle just changed. Just in case you were wondering. Oh, good Lord. Tony Katz today. That was moments ago in the Oval Office. And it didn't end there.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Okay. That's you guys that was me dropping my glasses. You guys understand how heavy that is, right? Like that is different level. That is the stuff that happens closed door. That is not the stuff. That is not the stuff that happens in the light of day. Have you ever once said thank you? Now, for the record, this is where Zelenskyy is at his worst. We have discussed this many times. He has a real issue with how he presents the subject. I've compared it very often to Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, says, you help us, and we stand on the front lines of stopping the terrorists before they come for you and all of Western civilization. And we stand with you, and we're happy to stand that front line with your help. Zelenskyy says, that's $1 billion, but we need $1.5 billion. And that's been true repeatedly. This is different. And I don't know if Vance wanted that to happen or if Trump did or why it did, but we will discuss it. I'm Tony Katz. Oh. Wow. So, the troll comes in with the basic line. The United States has become the pariah of the free world. Thanks for destroying our country, Republicans. I mean, it's a boring line. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? What is the pariah line? You believe that we no longer will have an ally, we'll no longer have a friend, we'll no longer what? Who is it that is now going to say to us, we don't like you anymore, you're big meanies? I mean, that's what you're saying. So I want to know who that is. I want to know how that plays out. I think this is the exact conversation that certainly Vance and Trump believe. Maybe you guys don't understand how this works. We're in charge. We're in charge. Everybody be nice to us, or else we're not gonna hide and pretend that we're not gonna slap you around. We're gonna slap you around in public. That's what's gonna happen. No, I don't like it. That's the difference. I don't want to see it because I don't quite know. I don't quite know what the reverberations are. Does it mean that we lose friends? No. What made you think they were friends to begin with? That's the weirdest part. You think they're friends. No, they're takers. They're not friends. You mean they're friends when we give them all of our money? They're friends when we give them all of our help? They're friends when we give them all of our firepower? When are they actually friends? When we tell them that you got to pay your own way, that for this meal, we got to go Dutch, then it's how dare you, and you're so terrible, and you never really loved me. I should have dated your brother. What? It's such a silly argument. It's childlike. The question before us is, does it have any play that is provable to a negative? That's the question. We're going to get more into this. I think that is, I was not ready for that. No. Didn't think it was going to go down like that. Not at all. Not in the slightest. Oh, we've got a lot to talk about. All right, you guys stay here. We've got the radio show in break right now. I hope you'll stick around. We'll have more of the show coming up. Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Find everything at TonyKatz.com. Much better. Sorry about that, guys, with the volume. Got it fixed. I'm going over what we just saw. And I've got it for you here with President Trump. It was nutty. That was absolutely, positively nutty. You guys, my mic is on. It's on. It's on. It's on. I'm good. Am I good? Good. On the live stream, I want to make sure I'm good. I'm going to play it for you. It's crazy. It's crazy. Show's coming back.
Breaks ceasefire. What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if the bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it?
It's not a bad line. What if Russia breaks the ceasefire? I don't even know if we have a ceasefire yet because it was absolute fireworks. Absolute fireworks in the Oval Office just moments ago between Vice President J.D. Vance, the president of Ukraine, Vlodomir Zelenskyy, and President Trump. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Holy cow. Man, we caught the tail end and whoo, this was something. And now they're supposed to hold a press conference where they're talking about making a deal on between the United States and Ukraine on mineral rights. I don't know what's going on right now. Let's start where it starts here with a conversation about NATO stepping up.
We're committed to NATO, but NATO has to step up and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize because they are in for far less than we're in, and they should be at least equal. You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between. Why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been obviously very helpful, but we have put in far more than they have. And I think they should equalize.
He's made this point before. He's making it in front of Zelenskyy. His argument is Europe needs to have more skin in the game. I do not believe he is wrong on that. I think it is very acceptable to say. I think Europe realizes they have to have more skin in the game than they do. Europe now, as I think it was the Wall Street Journal reported it earlier this week, are working on plans to have the peacekeeping force if there's a deal made between Ukraine and Russia. Remember, Russia invaded Ukraine 3 years ago. Russia is the aggressor of this. There is no question. It has been 3 years, and Ukraine cannot win this fight in the long run. They've had an amazing fight in the short run, but they cannot win the war of attrition. It is just a question of bodies, and the Russians have more bodies they can throw at this. The Ukrainians have taken unbelievable hits, unbelievable deaths. What they've been able to do is amazing. They could not have done it without our weaponry, and they cannot go long-term like this. They will lose. They need the deal if they want a chance at survival. You are not getting me to say that Russia is right. I'm not on the side of Russia in the slightest. And I am still stunned by the people who think that it would be okay. We shouldn't even be involved. If Russia takes over Ukraine, so what? It's the weirdest thing in the world. It is an insane proposition. Nutty proposition. Ukraine has to accept certain realities. Trump wants to get paid back. That's a big thing of his. I think it's a weird thing to ask about being paid back because that's not why we are engaged in the giving. We get more out of it by having Russia at bay. But now there's a deal for mineral rights. Who am I to tell them not to put together a deal for mineral rights? You do it with any other country. You would do it with any other country. Put together your deal for mineral rights. Go ahead. Zelensky comes. He's going to sign a deal for mineral rights. And Trump greets him at the White House, comes out. Zelensky gets out of the limo, and he's like, "My gosh, you look great. You dressed up."
Pretty close. How are you? Pretty sharp.
He's all dressed up today.
President Trump, what's your message to Vladimir Putin, sir?
He's wearing the all black as opposed to the camo top that he wears. It was a weird thing for Trump to say, for sure. Then they're in the Oval. Now, what I have here is a pretty long clip of what it is that took place. I do not know if we get to the impetus, the start of this, where clearly the vice president, J.D. Vance, feels that Vlodomir Zelenskyy was not being respectful. Clearly feels that Vlodomir Zelenskyy may have even been rude. And this is how it went down.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong,
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
have you ever been to Ukraine that you say?
Ho, 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 ho. I think that Vladimir Zelenskyy is fully aware of the problems that he has. And I'm not quite sure what led to this line of talk back and forth. I am not so sure why this took place. But instead of engaging a diplomatic response, Vladimir Zelenskyy, who has no diplomatic response, turns to J.D. Vance and says, "Have you ever been to Ukraine?"
Manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your?
Let's talk about the attack part. Zelenskyy went about telling President Trump that a promise from Vladimir Putin can't be trusted. Vladimir Putin breaks all his promises. His history is broken promises. And Trump's point is he hasn't broken a promise with me. Now, let's start with a baseline. If you want to start by blaming Trump because, oh my gosh, look what Trump did, and you won't take a look at what Vladimir Zelenskyy did, this is you're in a part of an unserious conversation and you are dismissed. You are pushed to the side. If you want to argue that Trump should have handled it in a different way, you can. Zelenskyy could have handled this in a different way as well. Don't get into a conversation in front of the cameras. In front of the cameras about this. Did you think you were going to chastise and nothing was going to happen? Clearly, you haven't met Donald Trump. He doesn't care about these things. He doesn't at all. So this continues with, as I said, J.D. Vance pressing him, and now Zelensky gets to respond. It is in that response that Zelensky then speaks about, you don't know how bad Putin is, but you will, to which Trump has no quarter.
Attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Oh, dear God. That's a line. You won't feel it now, but you will in the future. I'm sorry. Now, I know it's not a threat, but it's kind of what you were like trying to do. No? Maybe it could be seen differently. Hey, JD Vance. Hey, kid. Hey, little boy. Pat you on the head. You don't know what you're up against. To which Donald Trump goes, I would assume that this is the Trump people would imagine behind closed doors negotiating the deal. Yup.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't know
God
that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not
you
have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're
dictating.
in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Braha,
position.
I
You don't
was
have
in-
the cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not playing
cards. But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War
What else-
III.
what are you
You're
thinking about?
gambling with
What are you
World
thinking
War
about?
III.
You forgive me, I'm repeating on myself. That's nutty. I mean, on a scale of 1 to what in the world just took place there? That's unbelievable. Trump is, I mean, he's almost yelling. You don't get to tell us we can handle ourselves. You're the ones with the problems. You're the ones with the issue. That's, I don't know how one responds to that. Let's continue.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to you.
Far more than a lot of people said
I'm wearing
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
you said thank
Even
you.
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for
What-
the United
what
States
are
of
you
America
speaking about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Gosh, that's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in. I think the first reaction people are going to have is good on Trump. I mean, and at the first you're like, oh my gosh, look what he's doing. Look at the attack. Look at the punch. Donald Trump just said to the world, Ukraine is weak, and said to Russia, you can take these people. That was not a conversation of we've got your back. That's not a conversation of we're going to get this to stop. Man, you cannot feel good about that. That is, let's talk about reverberations. When you take a look at how other nations might view this, I don't know if they're going to look at this and say to themselves, my gosh, we're going to make a deal with the United States. That's how we're going to get treated. We're going to get lectured to. You take a country that is basically on their knees and you kick them while they're down. Is this what you're doing? Why don't you say thank you? Why don't you kiss the ring? Dear Lord, J.D. Vance basically asked Vladimir Zelenskyy, how come you don't say, be my friend, Godfather? That's rough. I mean, really rough. That is not going to be looked at as a good look. I think there's going to be a big difference between how MAGAville sees that and how the world sees that. And I need a little more time with it. I now only want to know what is about to happen with this meeting that they're supposed to have. This big press conference. It's supposed to have started. It hasn't started yet. But I'm going to bring it to you. Have absolutely no fear about that. Oh, I got to break this down a little bit more. Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Oh my goodness. Things just got really hot. Much more so than what we just already shared. Really hot. Holy cow. Things just got, oh my. This is not the everyday, ladies and gentlemen. This is the statement from President Trump on Truth Social after the blow-up meeting with Vlodomir Zelenskyy and Vice President Vance. Quote, "We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion. And I have determined that President Zelenskyy is not ready for peace if America is involved, because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage. I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace." Wow. Wow. That's, I'm sorry. I'm absolutely dumbfounded by what it is that I'm watching and seeing here. I mean, this is unbelievable. So is it now that he's, I mean, honestly, did he just throw out Zelenskyy? Did he just throw him out? That's unreal stuff. Unreal. No, I have no idea where this puts anything. I have no idea where this puts a mineral rights deal, which this was ostensibly supposed to be. I have no idea where this puts the possibility of a negotiation between Ukraine and Russia. I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue where this is going to put things. Ooh. I understand where passions are. Don't come in here and dictate to us. Don't come in here and tell us how we're doing things wrong. You need us. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. That was what President Trump said. Just a Friday. This is Tony Katz today. Wow. Absolutely wow. I feel like I need to go back and listen to the whole thing. How did it get to that place? You know, me not having the words, super rare stuff. But I'm trying to play the angles here, not the emotions. people want to play the emotions. That they're desperate to do that. They want to immediately go to, you see, Trump did all this wrong. Did the other guy do anything wrong? And that's not even saying that Trump didn't do something wrong. I've got people on Twitter. Why are you defending Vladimir Zelenskyy? I didn't defend anybody. I'm going through it, making sure I understand it. This is not what you wanted. There's video of the Ukraine's ambassador to the UN.
You get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
There wasn't
That's the
really-
money for you.
I mean, I'll play it again. It's brutal.
But you're saying you don't want a
But I
ceasefire?
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
There
That's the
wasn't
money
really-
for you.
I don't know what Zelensky's doing. You see, that gives a little more context that if he's goading Trump and saying, what good's a ceasefire? What's the point of a ceasefire? What? Now we've got a little more context. We can do more with that. So now I think I've got the entire thing. I think what I have now is the entire conversation. We can kind of see where it built from. If you guys don't mind, we're going to break it down a little bit more. This is the biggest story in the world at the moment. There is nothing bigger than this. And I'm trying to make sure I've got all my ducks in a row. Let's break it down and make sure we've got it, because what we have doesn't give us enough. Not at all. Wow. You better believe. You better believe they're talking about that everywhere. I wonder if this makes the people in Ukraine say, you know what, he's got to go. Somebody else. Maybe that was the whole point. Everything is possible, boo. Everything is possible. Okay. So I have now the full Oval Office interaction. We've heard the yelling. We don't know why it got there. How did it get to this place? How did it get to a place of Vladimir Zelenskyy saying to President Trump, how could you trust Putin? You can't trust his ceasefire. You can't trust his... How did we get to this? What are we, all nutty? You need the deal. And you sit down in the Oval Office and you're like, hey, let's start a fight. How did it happen? Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. And then what is the response on the other side? What's the reaction? Is there a negative reaction to how Trump responded? Did he play a hand that he didn't maybe want to play? Is there something there that could reverberate back? Everybody wants to be emotional. I want to understand what happened. I've got people yelling at me, how dare you blame Zelenskyy? People yelling at me, how dare you blame Trump? Guys, yell all you damn well like. We're getting to the bottom of this. So this went over to the C-SPAN and got the full thing. So this is, you understand this all happened in the last hour. And this is going to be the story all weekend. This was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'm going to pick it up where it picks up right from the beginning.
What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough, but you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more.
Now, you could see already from Vladimir Zelensky's body language, and he wants to jump in. He wants to say something. You should hate Putin. He's the aggressor. Trump does not work or act like that. Even if he hates the guy, he isn't going to show that he hates the guy, because what he needs is the deal. Trump's entire movement, the thing that so motivates his core, is being able to find the place. Through cunning, through strength, through force, however, find the deal. Is that or is that not the thing that makes him so attractive to people? Well, of course it is. Say otherwise is crazy. So to say that Vladimir Zelensky's got so much anger for the guy did invade his country. If somebody even's like, yeah, he's got a point. Yeah, he's got a point. Vladimir Putin has killed a lot of people in Ukraine. Of course he has a point. Continuing.
More questions.
I will respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
That's J.D. Vance. Now, I think it interesting that he felt the need to jump in, that he wanted to jump in, that he wanted to make that clear. I'm not particularly bothered by it. He wants to make the clear differentiation between this administration and the Biden administration, what is actually different, and he wants to talk up his boss, right? All those things, I don't think that's so bad. I don't think it's a problem at all. Continuing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014
2014.
and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
That's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire.
Now, this is Vladimir Zelensky saying, we've been dealing with this since 2014. All these presidents, nobody's done anything. That's a strange move. That's a strange move because it wasn't a natural opening where Vladimir Zelenskyy had to give a history lesson. That's not what happened there. That didn't exist. Rather, what existed there was a moment to just let it go and get the press conference over. Or get this part over and get on to the press conference and get the deal and get done. Zelenskyy wanted it. Let's start there. Zelenskyy wanted it. If I were to break down Vice President Vance's words, maybe I could find something in there that is incendiary. Maybe I could find something in there that is problematic. Maybe I could find the buzzword that sets this chain of events going. But Vladimir Zelenskyy didn't have to engage this. And now talking about having signed these ceasefires, and he did within that break say, look at all these presidents and Russia's there. And what did you do? Nothing. I mean, we have to admit, that's what Vladimir Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, is saying.
All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broke this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to,
count once.
I have actually.
And this is where now we pick it up to what we heard already. This is where Zelenskyy says, what do you really know of our problems? When have you been to Ukraine? Okay. What am I missing? Because I always ask myself that question. In this Zelenskyy trying to pick a fight. What in the world is he starting a fight for? Why is he doing it? Why is he going down this road? And here, I'm not arguing that he couldn't have discussed this in every other setting. Why did he do it here? Understand, this wasn't J.D. Vance saying, you should really be thanking us. That's how it sounded from the clip. When you listen to the whole thing, no. I'm not sure what Zelenskyy thought he was doing here. But now, as J.D. Vance is pushing back, and J.D. Vance is pushing back clearly with the okay of Donald Trump, Zelenskyy turns this into something personal when he says, and I'll let it play, when Russia comes for you, then you'll see.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems like bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know that.
bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem.
You will feel it in the future. And Trump, it just sent Trump off? Okay. It was a, if you don't do something about this now, you're going to deal with it later. This was Zelenskyy saying to Trump, you need to do more. We're doing the live stream. It's a very good comment, Deborah. He wants someone to attack Putin. That's the help he's asking for here. Deborah, I think that's an absolutely well-reasoned thought based on what you just heard. Because he follows it up with, you don't feel it now, but you will. You will see. It seems like he's saying to Trump, you have to take out Putin. You're not doing enough. To which Trump then is off to the races.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel
I'm-
very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influenced.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right
From
about
the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You
was
don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think
You're gambling with World War III.
What do
You're
you think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think about?
War III.
Now I ask you at that moment, is Trump engaged in a diplomatic line? Or is Trump engaged in a, what are you trying to do to us? Are you out of your damn skull? You understand that guy's crazy, right? I know he's crazy. I'm just trying to keep everybody a little bit of cool. What are you doing? I do think that was the moment where it got very personal. Very, very, very personal for President Trump.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country,
I'm
that's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to you.
Far more than a lot of people said
Very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can.
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn
We-
good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war.
Vance says something, and Zelensky says, why are you getting so loud? And now Trump, like Big Brother, he's not being loud. You're being loud. Yeah. Who decided this was a good idea? Who decided this was a good idea? This public meeting. I've got more of it. I'm Tony Katz. And now it's out that Zelensky has left the White House. I mean, I got to go through the rest of it, right? I got to break it all down. Holy cow. By the way, remember this about me every day and all the time. Everybody else is going to retreat to their emotions, and they're going to bark out their emotions for whatever it is they can get as a response of clicks and hits and etc. Guys, I don't do it. I don't work like that. I want to understand it. So that's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing this. I am not going to go to something and be like, well, that's what it means. I need to understand what it is that I'm saying. This is nuts. I don't know what Zelensky's doing here. And I can't say for sure that every response from Trump is accurate. I'll tell you the responses I'm more bothered by. Vance. What's the point of saying, when did you say thank you? What are you doing? Why are you escalating something that your boss then has to deal with? Of course your boss backed you up. Why are you escalating it? Which makes me wonder whether or not This was a conversation they wanted to have. They wanted this. That's crazy, right? Like even you, Tony. Let's not get so conspiratorial, shall we? By the way, yeah, I'm here to help. Oh, good Lord. Goodness gracious. Still stunned. Still absolutely stunned. Fox News reporting Zelenskyy begged to stay and Trump kicked him out of the White House. That from Rob Finnerty over at Newsmax. And Kira Davis reporting on what Fox was saying. News conference has been canceled, kids. Oh, holy cow. You were there. You lived through it. That is unbelievable. And I'm not done. We're going to finish it. We're going to get into it in the next hour. I do want to get with Dr. Matt Will and talk a little bit about the economic numbers. But if I don't get it all, I'm gonna hit it on the other side. We're gonna have to, because we got to finish this up. We got to finish this up. As a matter of fact, we're gonna have to move Dr. Will. Yep. Yeah, we have more to go over here. This is crazy. The more I go over it, I don't know what Zelenskyy was doing, and I don't know why he was doing it. What was in all negotiations, one can ask themselves a question: what is there to win? What do I win? And I can't answer the question. I can tell you what Trump and Vance win. I can take a look at it on social media. Undoubtedly true. What the hell does Zelenskyy win here? Teach me. Radio show's coming back. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has thrown Vlodomir Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, out of the White House. This is the reporting from Newsmax. This is the reporting from Fox News. Other reports say that Zelenskyy actually begged to stay to be able to talk. That did not happen. This is a stunning turn of events that has taken place over the last hour and a half. We have been breaking down the full 11 minutes inside the Oval Office, bit by bit and piece by piece, and we are not done. On the flip side, we're only halfway through. On the flip side, we'll finish it. What made Zelenskyy go down this road? Why was Vance acting the way he was, and did Trump actually do anything wrong? Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz. Wow. Just live radio is fun. It really is. That is crazy. right there. I do have the statement that Trump released. We're going to take the break, clear everything out, and then we'll be back and we will do the next hour as well. I'm glad you guys are here. I think we're the only people who are going to break it down this way, really understand what it is that got said. Is this the audio of him? Wow. Walked right out of the White House, shook a woman's hand, got right into his limo. Ooh. Okay. Okay. The rare mineral deal was not signed. All right. We'll take the quick break and we'll be back, guys. I'm glad you're here. Fun day. Fun day indeed. It's nutty. I'm gonna sneeze. Good Lord. Finishing up a cold. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. All right. The more I look at this, the less I understand of Zelensky's position. It's beyond me. Absolutely beyond. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. You didn't need to see that. Tony Katz, if I didn't say hello, good to see you. Good to be with you. We're going to get into part 2 of this audio. It's unbelievable. They're going to be dissecting this in classrooms for decades. So far, the only thing I can say that really does rub me the wrong way is that this should not be a conversation in front of the camera. Who let this happen? Oh, thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate it. I know so many people in radio or live streaming like, oh, I know exactly what it means. I will always take a second because I won't lie to you. It's just that easy. I can't figure out. I can't figure out what Zelenskyy was after. This is the part that's driving me nuts. I think Trump saw it as a moment of, you can't talk to my guy like that. Forget this. What's wrong with you? Like, it was, I so know that. I have done that. I know that. I grew up like that. I understand that all too well. It's crazy.
this extraordinary exchange between him and the president of Ukraine. He wrote online, "We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never have been understood without conversation under such fire and pressure." And here's the part that you really have to lean in on here. It says, "It's amazing when it comes out through emotion, and I've determined that President Zelenskyy is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He was disrespectful to the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace." So
that is the statement from President Trump after the absolute blow up in the Oval Office between Trump, Vlodomir Zelenskyy, and the Vice President, J.D. Vance. Guys, I do this for a living. I've never seen that. Tony Katz today. What are you doing, everybody? 833-GOT-TONY, 833-468-8669, 833-GOT-TONY. That is absolutely incredible stuff. I mean, this is the official statement here. We had a very meaningful meeting, in case you didn't hear it earlier, in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion, and I've determined that President Zelenskyy is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. I don't want advantage, I want peace. He disrespected the United States of America and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. That's what President Trump says. The story from Rob Finnerty at Newsmax, from the reporting from Fox News, was that Zelenskyy begged to stay, wanted to stay at the White House. They threw him out. They said, there is no meeting here. That Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, was there and said, you have to figure out what it is you really want. But this is over. This is done here and now today. And there is video of Zelenskyy walking out of the White House, shaking a woman's hand. I'm not familiar with who she is. And then getting into his waiting limousine. It's remarkable. It was a remarkable exchange, by the way. Incredible. Between Zelenskyy and between J.D. Vance. And this exchange that got very, very heated very quickly.
States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
You will
good.
feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed.
And it got worse than this by a lot. This all started when, and so we went back to the whole thing because people are showing the clips, but you got to know how the thing started. All right, you might want to cheer for Trump. You might want to cheer for Zelenskyy. I don't know what side you're on. I want to be on the side of understanding what the bloody heck just happened here because this was insane. And what happened here was this was supposed to be a deal on rare earth minerals. And no one seemed to inform Vlodomir Zelenskyy that smile, sign, and then go on from there. So Trump talks about ending the war and how much Zelenskyy hates Vladimir Putin, but it's sure that Putin also hates Zelenskyy. Remember, Zelensky has every right to hate Vladimir Putin. Look at the attack, look at the war, look at the damage, look at the destruction, look at all of it, right? He has every reason in the world to hate Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is the aggressor. As long as we're all on board with that reality, we're in a good spot. J.D. Vance then jumps in, saying that, the Biden administration, they weren't able to handle anything. But what President Trump is doing is utilizing negotiation and utilizing diplomacy. And that is the way America, a great country like America, gets to peace. I don't think there's anything wrong with that statement at all. Nothing. For whatever reason, Vladimir Zelensky decides to challenge that. He goes to this conversation of from 2014 to 2022, Russia's taking Crimea, Russia's taking this, Russia's taking that. I signed deals with them. I signed this. So you tell me, JD. Called him JD. I think that was the first. If I go back and think about it, I think that was the first. No. I didn't realize we were so friendly and this was a backyard barbecue. Why would you trust him? And then basically JD Vance starts hitting at him. You've been engaging in propaganda. Do you think you're winning this war? Do you think you need us? And to which you heard right there how Vladimir Zelensky responds and basically says, you don't have to deal with Putin yet, but you will. You'll feel it. And that's when Trump steps in. So now we catch up with where we are in this audio of Trump basically having had enough. I'll back it up just a little bit here so everybody can catch up together.
Appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No.
Can
You've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid
thank-
president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over.
Now that's 100% true. Without U.S. military hardware, this is over. What? Listen to this. You don't see this. And maybe there's good reason you don't see this, although this clearly happens. We don't get to see the backroom dealings. This is sausage getting made? I think this is more than that. This is getting personal. And I think Zelensky, the approach is odd. I don't see where it values him. I don't see where he wins.
In 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of times
Except
to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are
I can
dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers. Listen,
Don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you'd take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting
Of
killed.
course, we want to stop the war.
But you're
I
saying
said-
you don't want a
But I
ceasefire.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That
It
wasn't
doesn't
with
matter for
me.
you what.
That
what
wasn't
is-
with me.
it
That was
wasn't
with
you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
Now, this is where Trump's going to get punched. You took a guy who can't win a war. You took a guy who has no ability, no matter how much he wants it, to stop Putin's aggression. And you went down not just one, but many roads to embarrass, humiliate, and make him beg. Now, the people who are going to say that are not going to mention the insanity of Zelensky's take. What is he trying to prove? This has to be the constant, continual refrain. What does he get out of this? I don't think I'm a dumb guy, guys. I do this for a living. Part of my job is to be able to understand what's around the corner. I have no idea what Zelensky thought was going to happen. What was going to be his argument? That you have to kill Putin? You have to do that for us? That's the only way we can have peace? Well, he knows Trump's not going to do that, and he knows Biden wasn't going to do it. Biden was so desperate not to have any levels of escalation, he wouldn't let you use the long-range missiles. Until, of course, he knew he wasn't going to be in power. And then he said, what the hell? Screw it. Let's see if we get World War III. When you could have possibly used the long-range weapons, maybe you could have made this thing end faster. I am stunned. Yes, I am stunned by, I should say, I don't enjoy the idea of Trump kicking a guy who is down, and there's no question that he's down. The Ukrainians are down. But I have no idea what Zelensky's doing, and I need to understand it to be able to make my brain work. How am I going to sleep tonight? This is just going to be in there. It's like hearing video killed the radio star. Oh, by the way, that's all you're going to hear now. You're going to try and go to bed and it's going to be video killed the radio star. That's all you're going to hear. This is all I'm going to freaking hear all night. What was he trying to do? I can't square the circle. Finishing up the clip.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make
Uh,
because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that he's a conversation right now.
What are you saying?
What
She's
if
asking
Russia-
what
The question is, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
if Russia breaks the ceasefire.
Well, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
But they have
Okay?
broken
What if they
ceasefire.
broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
But look,
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom.
Hillary's
It was
bathroom.
disgusting. And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia, the 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that.
The guy is unbelievable. Now, the funniest part about all of this is, and the people hyperventilating about Trump right now, Zelenskyy could come back in 2 weeks and they could sign a deal. It's all good. We're friends. Friends argue sometimes. It's okay. We're friends. Like, it's totally possible. As a matter of fact, I like, place your bets. I'll put a couple bucks on that. I'm not a betting guy. I'm betting all the time now. Unbelievable back and forth. Remarkable to witness. But I come to you with I wish I had an answer. Like, I want to be able to provide you that. And I can't. I can't do it. I have no idea what Zelenskyy thought he was going to get. What he thought that was going to do. I have no idea why he went in with that. And I need to know. I need to understand what he was thinking. Just need to know. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. So it's so great. Like here are some of the texts or the tweets that I'm getting. Did you want our president to kowtow to Zelenskyy, Tony? It was a no-win situation in the short term. In the long term, who knows? And now here's another one. Tony Katz wasting his time on earth listening to unhinged Trump rants that he corrects in real time to own the lib keeps me going. Welcome to Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Tony Katz. I'll be your host. Everybody takes what they want to take. I got to admit, Rogue, think of it differently. I don't know if this was so bad for Putin. The war will still come to an end, and maybe he gets a better deal. Maybe he gets a better deal. I have no idea. Zelenskyy is. That was not. Am I supposed to be like, well, he had a point? And I will say this as well. When he says to Trump or to Vance, you don't feel it now, but you will. He's also speaking in English, and that's not his language. It could have been a translation thing. It could have totally been a translation thing. I mean, that's there. I'm reading people saying that this is going to have consequences that will be bad for U.S. security and that of our allies. I don't know if that's true either. I honestly don't know. I really don't. What I know is I would rather have not had this. I would rather have not seen this. I would rather that this had been a more normal conversation. The mineral rights deal gets signed and then hope for the best. But there is a point to be made about what happens if Putin breaks the deal. Trump's response is the accurate one. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know what happens if Trump breaks the deal. I mean, if Putin breaks the deal, what are you going to do? You when you sign a contract, when you sign a deal, you do what you can to make sure you've thought of all of the machinations, all of the issues and you put it in the contract. Invariably, there's something you haven't thought of. It's just the way it is. And you deal with it as it comes. You cannot plan for every eventuality. Only a child would believe that. Grown-ups know that's not the way it works. And if you really want to take out Putin, how are you going to take out the nuclear arsenal? What's the plan? It's a huge lack of thinking. Absolutely massive. I'm going to change the subject a little bit because today's supposed to be the day of the economic blackout. But by the way, that I have some people like, you're saying this wrong or saying that wrong. It's like exactly the opposite things. I must be hitting it. I must be all right. I must be. There we go. A little more centered. There it is. With all the hubbub of Trump Zelenskyy, people are forgetting it's the day of the big economic blackout. Blackout, 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 blackout. You see, there's this group out there called the People's Union. It only formed a month ago, I guess, when Trump became president. And it's so grassroots that now it's everywhere and well-funded. And the people there, they said today is the day of the economic blackout. And what we're going to do is we're going to show our power to the billionaires like Alex Soros and George Soros and J.B. Pritzker and Oprah Winfrey. Wait, what? No, they're billionaires. And so we're going to show them our power by not buying anything. Those evil billionaires like J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, and Oprah Winfrey and her studios and George Soros. Oh, those are the good billionaires. Oh gosh. Oh, I didn't know there were any good billionaires. I thought we were supposed to slaughter them all. Oopsie. They're gonna show the billionaire class. They're gonna show all you rich folk that they don't need you. You need them, and so they're not gonna buy anything today. It's the economic blackout. You know what that means? There's plenty of what you want on the shelves. I say go get it. If you don't want to buy something, don't buy something. Economic blackout. This is what you do. How about policy that maybe you'll get you elected in the future? Huh? I'm Tony Katz. Good Lord. Guys, I want to appreciate you being with me. For sure. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this all weekend, as you are, and how this plays out geopolitically. I'm curious as to what Zelenskyy says. He's going to be on Fox and with Bret Baier and how that kind of plays out. And I do think there could have been a lost in translation thing here, which would help him save face and help everybody else get back to a joyful kind of thing. See, it was just about the language. It was just a language barrier. We're fine. We're good. We're fine. He's thankful. We're happy. We're going to get this done. We're going to save lives. Everything's possible. Always remember the first two rules of Trumpism. The first rule is that Trump wins. The second rule is that a deal can always be made as long as it adheres to the first rule of Trumpism, which is, of course, Trump wins. That I'm right. Watch it play out. But I do got to run. I appreciate you guys being here so much. I love seeing everybody here. More live streams coming. I hope you don't mind me breaking it down the way we did, making sure we understood it before coming to some kind of opinion on what it meant. I don't know what Zelenskyy was going for there. And Trump at that moment clearly made the decision that people are watching, because he said at the end, it's going to be great television, that this is the presentation he wanted for America. That's obvious. How it plays on the geopolitical stage, I don't know yet. I think some people saying, oh, this is going to be bad. I don't know. I think that they might be a little bit wish casting. I don't think they know. But I'm glad you guys were here. Follow everything I do over at TonyKatz.com. Find me on the Twittix at TonyKatz and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. Subscribe and like and follow and do all the things. I appreciate you guys very much. I will catch you on Monday. Do me a favor, y'all. Take care. Well, I said y'all. Look at me. So fancy.